Hey folks, want to come on here and shoot another solo podcast. This one is going to build upon the previous episodes on around mindset. Number 35, unlocking your potential, the power of mindset. 36, the power of resilience, adapting to life's challenges. Number 37, the pursuit of excellence, key principles. Number 38, unlocking the power of thinking big. Number 39, how helping others feel success. Number 40, mastering your career, the Newport approach. And success can be a dirty word, and so just go into the definition again real quick on Oxford Languages. Number one, the accomplishment of an aim or purpose. Number two, the good or bad outcome of an undertaking. The definition of success on ChatGPT is success is commonly defined as the achievement of goals or desired outcomes, especially through effort, skill, or perseverance. More broadly, success can be understood in different ways depending on context. Personal success, living in alignment with your values, finding fulfillment, growth, or happiness. Professional success, achieving career goals, competence, recognition, or impact in your work. Social success, building meaningful relationships and contributing positively to others. Material success, attaining financial stability or wealth. In short, success is subjective. What counts as success depends on what matters most to the individual. If you like, I can help tailor a definition of success in your life, career, studies, which we won't get into today. I want to talk about the concept of the ego. And first of all, I'm not a psychologist and I'm not a doctor or PhD in psychology. However, there is a book out there called Ego is the Enemy, The Fight to Master Our Greatest Opponent by Ryan Holiday, best-selling author of The Obstacle is the Way. Inspiring yet practical, teaches us how to manage and tame this beast within us so that we can focus on what really matters, producing the best work possible. Robert Greene, author of Mastery. And then here's the book, here's the front. On the back, international bestseller, Ryan Holiday is one of his generation's finest thinkers, and this book is his best yet. Stephen Pressfield, author of The War of Art, the War of Art, It's wrecked the careers of promising young geniuses. It's evaporated great fortunes and run companies into the ground. It's made adversity unbearable and turned struggle into shame. Its name, ego, and it is the enemy of ambitious, of success, of resilience. It is an internal opponent warned against by every great philosopher in our most lasting stories and countless works of art in every culture, in every age. In this book, Ryan Holiday offers a practical meditation on the nature and dangers of ego, drawing on an array of inspiring examples from literature, philosophy, and history to show how you can be humble in your aspirations, gracious in your success, and resilient in your failures, and rely on confidence, not ego. When it comes to ego, we must fight to destroy it before it destroys us. Highlight how we can earn confidence by pursuing something bigger than our own success. Adam Grant, author of Originals and Give and Take. We already spoke about the book Give and Take on the last episode, or 2 episodes ago, which is number 39, How Helping Others Fuels Success. And I think these last solo shows build nicely on the concept of mindset and the resilience, and which we talked about, helping others and mastering your career. But something that can really hold people back is their egos. And I don't want to be too extreme and say it can ruin everything, but sometimes one's ego can really get in the way and damage a lot of areas in your life. So let's get into it a bit. So the ego is a concept with different meanings depending on the field. Number one, psychology from Freud. In psychoanalytic theory, the ego is the rational, conscious part of the mind that mediates between idea or ID, instinctual desire and impulses, and the superego, moral rules and ideals. The ego helps you make realistic decisions by balancing desires, morals, and reality. Number two, philosophy and spirituality. The ego often refers to the sense of the self or identity, the story you tell about who you are, your name, your role, your achievements, beliefs. It is not inherently bad, but over-identifying it with it can lead to pride, fear, comparison, or suffering. Many spiritual traditions see the ego as something to be observed rather than to be ruled by, which we'll get into the book by Ryan Holiday and Stoicism, and the ego is the enemy. Number 3, everyday usage. In common language, ego usually means self-importance or infatuated pride, or inflated pride, not infatuated, excuse me, inflated pride, as in he has a big ego. Simple summary, ego equals the idea of me. That's very nicely put, that ego equals the idea of me. It helps you function in the world. Problems arise when it becomes rigid, defensive, or overly attached to status or validation. If you want, I can explain the ego in relation to success, confidence, personal growth. Ego and success have a complex relationship. They can support each other or undermine each other depending on balance. How ego can help success, confidence. A healthy ego gives belief in your abilities, motivation, desire for recognition or achievement can drive effort. Identity, seeing yourself as capable or ambitious can reinforce success-oriented behavior. How ego can hurt success, fear of failure. Ego ties self-worth to outcomes, making failure feel threatening. Inflexibility. Ego resists feedback, learning, and change. Comparison. Measuring success against others creates stress and dissatisfaction. Short-term wins. Ego seeks validation, not long-term growth. Healthy ego versus unhealthy ego. A healthy ego would be self-confidence, growth mindset, which we already talked about, humility, which we may touch upon, which is an interesting phrase that I've used over the last while, which we may get into for those the concept of humility. Purpose driven, so that's an unhealthy ego, arrogance, need to be right, defensiveness, validation driven. Key insight: success grows when ego becomes a tool, not an identity. High achievers often succeed despite which already went into the definition of success and talk about achievement and maybe the science of achievement another day. Success grows when ego becomes a tool, not an identity. High achievers often succeed despite ego early on, but sustain success by separating self-worth from results, staying curious and coachable, letting purpose matter more than applause. If you want, I can explain how to manage for ego for long-term success, or relate this to leadership, sports, or career growth. We're 8 minutes in, so I may just get into the book and then go back to this maybe another time. Maybe one day we'll get Ryan on the podcast. For those of you who are part of the Ryan meetup, if there's any listening out there, there's a page. I know it's a bit of a side tangent, but there's a page online called the Ryan Meetup, which is everyone called Ryan kind of meets around the world. For those of you who think it's a bit obnoxious, that's absolutely no problem. I've never been to one of the meetups. Maybe one day. Yeah, I won't get into it. You can actually legally change your name to Ryan if you want. I know it sounds absurd, but we continue. Ego is the enemy. Summary by Ryan Holiday. The book argues that ego, our inflated sense of self-importance, pride, and need for validation, is the greatest obstacle to success, growth, and fulfillment. Again, for those who think success is a dirty word, we've already talked about this. Core idea: ego makes us think we are better, smarter, or more entitled than we are, and that blinds us at every stage of life. The 3 stages where ego hurts us. Number 1, aspire. Before success, ego creates overconfidence and impatience. We seek recognition instead of learning. We talk more than we work. Number 2, success. During achievement, ego leads to complacency and arrogance. We stop listening, adapting, or improving. We believe past success guarantees future success. Number 3, failure. After setbacks, ego resists responsibility and learning. We blame others instead of growing. Pride prevents recovery and resilience. Key lessons: be a student, not a star. Work quietly, let results speak. Detach identity from outcomes. Practice humility, discipline, and self-awareness. Takeaway, again, we'll may get into humility on the next episode. Takeaway, ego promises success but delivers stagnation. Humility creates mastery, resilience, and lasting success. We have 5 more minutes, so we may get into humility a bit instead of the next episode. Humility is the ability to see yourself clearly and honestly, without exaggerating your importance or diminishing your worth. It means recognizing your strengths without arrogance, acknowledging your limits without shame, being open to learning feedback and grow. Be open to learning feedback and growth, putting truth, purpose, and improvement above ego or recognition. What humility is not: low self-esteem, weakness or lack of confidence, self-neglect. What humility is: quiet confidence, willingness to learn, respect for others, focus on progress over praise. Simple definition: humility is knowing who you are accurately. In the context of success, which we already got into, for those of you who think this is the third time reiterating success, the definition, let's just go into it one more time. Oxford Languages: success is the accomplishment of an aim or a purpose. Number 2, the good or bad outcome of an undertaking. Let me go. We already talked about the ChatGPT version of it, so we'll hold on to the next time. In the context of success, humility allows long-term growth while ego seeks short-term validation. If you like, I can explain humility with examples. Maybe examples. So here are clear real-life examples of humility, especially in relation to ego and success. In learning, admitting I don't know yet and asking questions, which is really interesting when we talked about the growth mindset in the podcast, talked about adding in the concept of yet to your life. I can't do this yet, or I think I'm not there yet. So super interesting. Accepting, I don't know if I used I'm not there, but there was another line which you can go back and check out on number 35. Okay, we have 2 more minutes. So in learning, we just reiterate this: admitting I don't know yet and asking questions, accepting feedback without defensiveness, being a beginner again, even after past success. At work or school, giving credit to the team instead of taking it all, listening more than speaking in meetings, owning mistakes instead of blaming others. In success, staying disciplined after achieving a goal, continuing to practice and improve despite praise, treating everyone with respect regardless of status. Number 4, in failure, saying what can I learn from this instead of this isn't fair. Taking responsibility and adjusting behavior, not letting setbacks define your self-worth. Number 5, in leadership, seeking advice from people with less experience, making decisions based on what's right, not what looks good, protecting the team's success over personal recognition. Number 6, everyday life, apologizing sincerely when wrong, accepting help without feeling threatened, celebrating others' achievements without comparison. One-line example: humility is confidence without the need to prove it. Excuse me, if you want, I can give short stories, famous examples, or daily practices. What could be interesting is, we have a minute left, so we'll just get into this real quick. Or 30 seconds. Here's a bit of a short story. Let's get into it. The humble CEO. As CEO of a successful tech company, Mike was once a rising star in the industry. As his company grew, he had many opportunities to speak at conferences and be in the spotlight. Instead of bragging about his achievements, Mike often shared stories of how the company's success came from the team's collective efforts, not just his vision. He would point out how his employees diverse ideas and contributions were what made the company great. Even when people praised him for the company's success, Mike would say, "I'm only as good as the people I surround myself with. They made this possible." His humility helped build a culture of collaboration and trust in the company, and employees felt genuinely valued, not overshadowed. And there's a lot of more stories here. Just the one thing before, which is an interesting story. Just running over 15 minutes. Maybe I'll be able to edit this a bit. Famous examples. Here are well-known real examples of humility from history, leadership, sports, and culture. Number one, Socrates, philosophy. Socrates is famous for saying, I know that I know nothing yet." Despite being considered one of the wisest men in Athens, he remained a lifelong student. His humility came from recognizing the limits of his knowledge, and the mindset made him great. Abraham Lincoln, number two, in leadership. As U.S. president during the Civil War, Lincoln often filled his cabinet with people who disagreed with him. Instead of surrounding himself with yes men, he valued opposing views, believing truth mattered more than ego. Number three, Mahatma Gandhi, moral leadership. Gandhi lived simply, wore modest clothing, and rejected power and status. Even as a global leader, he referred to himself as a servant of the people, admitting his own perfections publicly. Number four, Nelson Mandela, forgiveness and power. After 27 years in prison, Mandela chose reconciliation over revenge. As president, he invited former enemies to work with him, showing humility through forgiveness and emotional restraint. Number five, Serena Williams, sports. Despite being one of the greatest athletes ever, Serena has consistently credited her family, coaches, and competitors. She openly discusses her struggles and growth, emphasizing effort over entitlement. Number six, Keanu Reeves, modern culture. Known for his quiet lifestyle, generosity, and respect for others, Reeves avoids flaunting wealth or fame. He treats crew members as equals and keeps his success low profile. Number seven, Marcus Aurelius, Stoic philosophy. And we talked about, we'll get into Stoicism maybe a bit more another day, which is kind of the background of the book, Ego is the Enemy. I know we're over 15 minutes. Hope we get sub 20. Number seven, Marcus Aurelius, or an edit. Stoic philosophy. As Roman Empire, he wrote meditations as private notes, reminding himself to stay humble, control ego, and serve others. Never intended for public praise. One line inside. True greatness is often quiet. Let's maybe get into that another day. Humility is what allows power, talent, and success to endure. Really interesting. And just let me look this last thing up. We'll get sub 20 on 18 minutes now. Maybe a bit of an edit. Yes, here are some simple daily practices to build humility without losing confidence, inspired by Ego is the Enemy, which we'll get into the one thing at the very end. Start the day as a student. Ask yourself, what can I learn today? Assume you don't have the full picture yet. Number two, do the work quietly. Focus on effort, not recognition. Let results speak for themselves instead of self-promotion. Number three, seek feedback and sit with it. Ask for honest input. Resist the urge to defend. Just listen. Number four, credit others publicly. Thank people by name. Share wins as we, not me, which we already went into the story about the CEO. Number five, own mistakes immediately. Say, that was my fault. I'll fix it. No excuses, no blame. Number six, practice gratitude at night. Right, and we talked about the 5-minute journal before, not on the podcast, but on social media. I've shared a few photos of it. I think you can get it online, or one can get it, or you can get it online. It's pretty straightforward. It's a good way to practice gratitude, which we may talk about on another podcast. Gratitude and what that is. 1 minute to go. Write down 1 to 3 things you didn't earn alone. Remember how much depends on others and circumstances. Number 7, compare yourself only to yesterday. Replace am I better than them with am I better than before. Number 8, serve in small ways. Help without being asked. Do something useful that won't be noticed. Number 9, detach self-worth from outcomes. Success equals effort plus integrity, not applause. Failure, data, not identity. Super interesting. Failure equal data, not identity. 10, end the day with reflection. Ask, where did ego show up today? Where did I choose humility instead? Another sentence. Confidence says, I can learn anything. Ego says, I already know. Love that. So yeah, there's one thing to take away. Just the concept of ego is pretty important, especially when you start getting into the growth mindset and you're resilient and you start helping others in life. or you start pursuing excellence, you start thinking big, you start helping others, and you start using maybe advancing your career, or as the podcast talk about, mastering your career, the Newport approach, or maybe just advancing in your career. It's important to know the concept of ego, and just not to let it ruin things in your life, especially when they're going well. So yeah, there's one takeaway. Just remember that ego can be the enemy, or as Ryan Holiday states in his book, ego is the enemy. Fight to master our greatest opponent. Thanks for listening, folks.